appreciate them for their commitment and renewed vigor in the fight against criminality and banditry.
No retreat, no surrender. Military sustains onslaught against terrorists in frontline states.
If we have love in our hearts for one another, for our neighbor, automatically there will be peace everywhere.
Building peace through interfaith. Muslims, Christians in Kaduna make the best of Yuletide. Auto crash. Former heavyweight boxing champion Anthony Joshua escapes death. 2 others not so lucky. You're watching the network news on NTA. I'm Naja'atu Tijani, and joining me from Lagos is Adiola Komi Akere. And right here in our Abuja studios with business highlights and sports updates, Musa Abubakar and Ayo Makinde. Musa?
Talking about metals, silver slides 7% as equities market begins the week in positive territory.
Thank you, Musa. Ayo, what's happening in the world of sports?
Well, the good news is that Anthony Joshua is in stable condition after that fatal crash.
All right, we look forward to the details. Remember that this broadcast is being streamed live on our website, nta.ng/live. Do follow us across social media. Our handles are displayed on the screen. And now the news in detail. The Department of State Services has recorded a major operational breakthrough with the arrest of a leader of a kidnapping syndicate responsible for the abduction and murder of renowned neurologist Professor Ekanem Philip Ephraim. In a statement issued by the service, the suspects were apprehended on December 27, 2025 in Cross River State, bringing an end to a case which shocked both the medical community and the nation. Patrick Esienetim and his accomplice Basi Antia Sukwo were arrested at a medical facility while allegedly planning to kidnap another top medical professional. The DSS says the suspects had been under covert surveillance since July 2023 killing of Professor Ephraim, who was abducted by gunmen posing as patients at a clinic in Calabar. Investigations revealed that the 2 of them confessed to the crime of murder after collecting multiple ransom payments from her family. The air component of Operation Fansang Yamma has recorded a major operational success in a sustained offensive against terrorism with the execution of 2 high-impact precision air interdiction missions at Turba Hill and Kachalla Dogo Sule's camp, both in Zafe local government area of Zamfara State. A statement by Director, Public Relations and Information, Air Commodore Ehime Ejodame, indicates that acting on credible multi-source intelligence, NAF air assets were deployed against the terrorist enclaves at the identified locations. The Chief of Army Staff, Lieutenant General Waidi Shaibu, has directed troops of 8th Division and Sector 2, Northwest Joint Task Force Operation Fansang Yamma to sustain the ongoing operational tempo aimed at decisively wiping out terrorists and other non-state actors within their area of responsibility. The Army Chief issued the directive while addressing officers and men of 248 Reconnaissance Battalion, Ilela, Sokoto State, during an operational tour. Bashir Ibrahim Nababa reports.
As part of his operational tour to Army formations and units across Nigeria, the Chief of Army Staff, Lieutenant General Waidi Shaibu, visited the 8th Division Training School at Gigenya Cantonment, Sokoto, to inspect key facilities before proceeding to Ilela. Addressing the troops in Ilela, the Army Chief commended them for their gallantry, professionalism, and resilience in tackling criminal elements in their theater of operation. He noted that their sustained operations have improved security and eased the burden on local communities, urging them to maintain the momentum to restore peace in the region.
We appreciate them for their commitment and renewed vigor in the fight against criminality and banditry across here in the northwest region.
Lieutenant General Shaibu reaffirmed his commitment to troops' welfare, directing the provision of additional accommodation, improved medical facilities, and other critical infrastructure to boost morale and enhance operational effectiveness of the troops. From Sokoto, Bashir Ibrahim Nababa, NTA News.
Now, as part of its broader national security strategy, the federal government has deployed 866 forest guards to 5 security-challenged local government areas of Yobe State. Adam Yusuf Ali reports that the forest guards drawn from across the state recently completed an intensive program in Kwara State.
These graduating 866 forest guards who were selected from across the 5 most affected local government areas in terms of insecurity underwent extensive physical and unique enemy combat drills, ambush response and rescue operations. The 3-month training, which has instructors from the Nigerian Army, Navy, Departments of the State Services, Nigerian Police Force, Nigerian Security and Civil Defense Corps, and the National Park Services, will enable the trainees to leverage terrain familiarity and community trust in countering insurgents and other illegal exploitations of the forest resources. At the graduation ceremony, Governor Mai Malabuni, represented by the State Deputy Governor Idi Barde Kubana, described the initiative as a significant milestone, emphasizing that it will compel terrorists to vacate forests of the state, which is happened to be their hideout, and equally urge the graduates to approach the national assignment with a strong sense of responsibility, discipline, and uphold rules of engagement.
This gesture reflects confidence in our state and underscores the importance of our collective responsibility in addressing security concerns, especially in forested and rural areas.
Ministries, departments, and agencies also contributed their quota in the training, especially the Ministry of Justice, that was able to impart knowledge on rules of engagement, human rights, and laws of armed conflict.
This forest guard will be deployed immediately to unidentified hot localities, particularly in forested and ungoverned areas.
The Nigerian Forest Guard is an interagency initiative established under the leadership of the strategic guidance of the National Security Advisor in collaboration with the Ministry of Environment and coordinated operationally by the departments of the State Services and the National Park Services. In Damaturu, Adam Yusuf Ali, NTA.
In Jigawa State, no fewer than 500,000 youths have been empowered with viable income-generating businesses in the last 2 years as part of deliberate efforts by the state government to combat poverty and unemployment among the young population and vulnerable across the state. Muhammad Musa Askira reports.
Governor Umar Namadi made this disclosure in Tauro local government area of the state while inaugurating a number of developmental and empowerment projects executed by his administration. The governor explained that the feat was achieved through the Agency for Youth Empowerment and Employment established to provide sustainable livelihoods for young people across the state. Governor Namadi further assured the people of Taura that President Bola Ahmed Tinubu is already taking steps to fulfill his promise to Nigerians, under which the federal government will empower 1,000 small-scale businessmen and women in each of the 8,809 political wards nationwide.
Mr. President, through the World Development Project, is going to empower 287 people in Jigawa State. That means in each political ward, 1,000 people will be empowered to improve their different trades and investment. And this will go a long way in improving the life and livelihood of our people.
Meanwhile, the governor also inspected the ongoing construction of the teaching hospital for the newly acquired University of Medical and Applied Health Sciences, as well as the renovation of the General Hospital Ringim. Governor Namadi stressed that the need for strict adherence to quality standards must be observed. The inspection tour reaffirms the Jigawa State government's commitments to human capital development, economic empowerment, and quality healthcare delivery. In Dutse, Muhammad Musa Askira, NTA News.
Still on youth empowerment, the federal government, International Fund for Agricultural Development, and the Food and Agriculture Organization are working hard to make Nigeria's aquaculture one of the best in the world. And this initiative has created many job opportunities for young people in the country. Musa Baba Aliu looks at the progress and impact of these efforts in southern Nigeria.
Fish farming, known as aquaculture, is a profitable business in Nigeria, but young people often struggle to get a steady supply of baby fish, fry and fingerlings to start or grow their own farms. Many farmers still buy these young fish from open markets like this, which can be unreliable. According to Abdulkadir Isa, who chairs the fingerlings producers and marketers group at Kado International Fish Market in Abuja, the biggest challenge in producing fingerlings and juveniles is feeding.
Because most of those fingerlings and fryers, they cannot eat our local feed. They eat forage feed. Our local production have not get the result of the crumbles.
To help solve this, the federal government has stepped in with social support programs, especially in the Niger Delta region. This initiative provides equipment, training and resources to young people interested in fish production.
Color of the water, but when we tested it, the pH water.
One success story is Juliet Amakoromo, a beneficiary of the Life ND project in Bayelsa State. The program, supported by the federal government and the International Fund for Agricultural Development IFAD, has empowered her to produce her own fingerlings and even train other youths.
After the training, I was empowered with 1,500 fingerlings and 50 bags of feed from 2 mm to, I think, 6 mm.
Dozens of young people across the United States involved in the FG IFAD Life ND program are receiving training in fish farming. Besides aquaculture, many others are being supported in poultry farming. The young beneficiaries are very grateful to President Bola Tinubu for these opportunities. They say the programs have given them skills, jobs and hope, and have helped reduce unrest and idleness in their communities. The government efforts are helping turn Nigeria's rural youth into successful farmers and business owners, creating better livelihood and stronger communities in key agricultural areas. From Yenagua, Bayelsa State, Musa Baba Aliyu, NTA News.
You're watching the Network News on NTA. There'll be more reports in a moment. Stay tuned. You're watching the Network News on NTA. Just before we went on break, we looked at aquaculture. And now we're going to be taking a look at livestock. And the Ministry of Livestock Development is recording significant milestones capable of transforming the industry for food security, job creation and economic prosperity, setting the nation high among global livestock giants. Yusuf Jika reports that this is thanks to the adoption of the first ever crafted National Livestock Growth Acceleration Strategy. The report.
Nigeria's livestock industry has come of age, increasingly adopting modern technology across production processes and contributing significantly to the nation's gross domestic product. Since the establishment of the Ministry of Livestock Development by the Tinubu administration, notable progress has been recorded. Key among these achievements is the rollout of pilot projects to transform 217 gazetted grazing reserves across the country. These include Wase in Plateau State, Wawazenge in Gombe, Gongoshi in Adamawa, and Kawu Grazing Reserve in the Federal Capital Territory. According to the minister, the initiative is designed not only to provide structured settlements for herders and livestock farmers, but also to serve as a sustainable solution to farmer-herder conflicts, turning the reserves into centers of economic activity and models of excellence.
We work assiduously, aggressively to implement the model we have designed that we are now going to call Renewed Hope Livestock Villages. In every livestock, grazing reserve we have across the country, we are going to work with the National Economic Council, the state governments, and the local governments to make sure that these grazing reserves, and where there are no grazing reserves, the state governments will also give us suitable land where we are going to have animal investment hubs.
Also in 2025, the ministry, in collaboration with the Livestock Productivity and Resilience Support Project, launched Nigeria's first ever policy document on animal genetic resource management. The policy aims to improve dairy and beef breeds while safeguarding indigenous livestock genes. Several model veterinary hospitals, ambulatory veterinary services, and a 40 million capacity cold chain facility were inaugurated during the year. The ministry also responded to outbreaks of transboundary animal diseases, marking a major milestone in strengthening Nigeria's animal health system.
The era of just running for the knife, when your animal is sick, is soon going to be over. Your animal will be treated. We also have ambulatory services where we commission those hospitals. There are properly equipped mobile clinics with branding of veterinary clinic. Today,
under the leadership of President Tinubu, the ministry successfully secured a $2.5 billion investment deal with JBS, the world's largest red meat processing company. Preliminary visits have been conducted with advanced discussions ongoing to actualize the investment.
Precisely with the intention to establish 2 abattoirs for beef, 2 abattoirs for chicken, that's poultry, and then 2 abattoirs for bacon, that is processing of pigs. These discussions have been advanced.
So far, 17 states have established ministries of livestock development or related agencies, aligning with the federal government's renewed drive to transform the sector. The ministry has also secured a permanent office complex in the city center to serve as a national livestock house and successfully hosted its maiden National Council on Livestock Development in Yola, Adamawa State, where key resolutions were adopted. Being the industry one can harvest every day, the Nigeria's livestock industry is poised for breakthrough through policy documents, intervention, and effective public-private collaboration. In Abuja, Yusuf Jika, NTA News.
Thank you, Yusuf. The Christian community in Kaduna State has marked the Christmas celebration with special prayers for peace, unity and harmony among people of different religions and ethnic backgrounds. In a show of solidarity, Muslims joined their Christian brothers and sisters in the celebration, with Governor Ubasani attending one of the Christmas events. Muhammad Umar Ajingi reports.
Every street and corner of the city of Kaduna hints that something big is about to happen. It is festive season, and the Christian community have gathered for a Christmas carol here. Songs of praises from different choir groups expressing gratitude for the gift of life, for the grace to witness yet another festive season. The governor of Kaduna State joins the faithful at this Christmas carol. The congregation responds in applause not only to the songs of praises, but to a leadership style they see as sincere.
We have seen equity. We have been talking about peace, 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 peace. If we have love in our hearts, for one another, for our neighbor, automatically there will be peace everywhere.
For the man at the helm of affairs, fairness, equity and justice remain the guiding light of governance.
I humbly ask for your continued praise for Kaduna State, for Nigeria, and for all those entrusted with leadership, especially His Excellency President Bola Ahmed Tinubu, GCFR. When leaders are grateful, the people prosper.
As the festive season unfolds, Christian communities across Kaduna State offer one collective prayer that peace will continue to fall like gentle rain upon the land. In Kaduna, I am Muhammad Umar-Ajingi, NTA News.
Let's head to Cross River State, where the wife of the governor, Eyo Anwanotu, believes that harnessing and mentoring children's vibrant energy, creativity and talent is key to preserving the culture and heritage of the state. The wife of the governor explains that these values will sustain the future of Carnival Calabar. Justina Etim reports.
Interpreting the theme, Traces of Time, the 2025 Junior Carnival kicks off with vibrant parade of competing bands narrating Nigeria's political struggles, the journey in building the nation, the rich potentials and cultural heritage of the people, honoring the past, celebrating the present, and forging a brighter future, safeguarding cultural identity. Wife of the Cross River State's governor describes children as the backbone of the nation, informing that the Junior Carnival aims to instill pride, discipline, and a sense of responsibility in them.
It gives us the joy to see that children are actually happy doing what they are doing, and they are bringing out the creativity in them, the joy, the energy they exert, and then it also gives us the joy that it will give them some level of maturity and having confidence and thinking outside the box, particularly, so that they don't keep doing the same thing all the time.
ECOWAS arrived yesterday in 12 countries to come and showcase human resource, training and capacity building in this sector. Our tomorrow is therefore ensured.
The concept of the Junior Carnival is built on the idea of catching them young, providing a platform for the next generation to grow and thrive in the creative industry. In Calabar, Justina Etam, NTA News.
4 persons have been confirmed dead on the spot following an accident in Egon, where 3 heavy-duty trucks rammed into an end-of-year cultural carnival along the Akwanga-Lafia Highway. Ayenaji Alta reports that the tragedy happened late on Sunday.
What appeared to have been a joyous celebration of the annual Egon Carnival procession held at the Nasarawa Egon Community Secondary School, Nasarawa Egon, was cut short tragically as a truck which lost control rammed into the crowd, and when the dust settled down, 4 bodies laid lifeless, leaving several others injured.
For me, I do not intend to take it lightly. I'm going to take it up, and but if there is understanding, it's not in every matter that you rush to court.
Organizer of the Egon Carnival and national president of Amewo Baegon, Samuel Akpaho Jonathan, says despite proper arrangements to ensure a hitch-free carnival, they are saddened by the unfortunate incident. So far, 2 out of the deceased have since been buried, while those injured are still receiving treatment. Ayenaji Alta, NTA News.
Meanwhile, reports just reaching us say President Bola Ahmed Tinubu has spoken by phone with Anthony Joshua, the Nigerian British former heavyweight boxing champion, following the tragic accident in Ogun State in which Joshua was injured and lost 2 of his associates. In a statement by Special Advisor on Media and Publicity, Bayo Ononuga, the president also spoke with AJ's mother and Governor Dakpo Abiodun, who was in the hospital with them. The governor assured the president that he would do everything possible to ensure that Anthony Joshua receives the best possible attention. Earlier on, in a statement on X, President Tinubu, who is currently in Europe, expressed profound sympathy for the boxer over the accident on the Lagos-Ibadan Expressway. We'll join Adiola in Lagos now for more reports.
Us in Lagos, and compliments of the season to you. To mitigate the impact of climate change in the country, Nigeria has put in place modalities to enable it qualify for the Green Climate Fund, a multilateral fund under the United Nations Framework Convention on Climate Change. Joel Pokbola reports that the National Council on Climate Change and other critical stakeholders have achieved a major milestone with the validation of a national communication strategy on how to mitigate the impact of climate change.
Nigeria is a signatory to the Paris Agreement and other international treaties to address the impact of climate change, but funding has been a major setback to implement its ambitious plans. Access to Global Climate Fund is one of the ways to address these funding gaps and reduce the financial burden on Nigeria. These stakeholders have been busy in the last 7 months developing capacity for Nigeria to be ready to access the Global Climate Fund.
We have been having various workshops. We've gone across the geopolitical zones to ensure that our no objection procedure, our communication strategy, all what GCF needs to be put in place before these funds can come into Nigeria is set up.
We need to be able to have institutions that can adequately capture the essence of what it means to have climate action. And that's what the Green Climate Fund is doing.
The GCF, according to experts, is hinged on mitigation and adaptation projects on climate change and how to assess the billions of dollars that has been set aside for developing countries, and development partners are hoping Nigeria will have a fair share of the fund by 2026.
For the first time in Nigeria, we actually have a national climate change communication strategy. And the idea was to actually get a lot of the stakeholders, the MDAs, the private sectors involved.
Different aspects of the strategy document addresses the needs of everybody so that they are able to take the right action.
Development of a holistic communication strategy will place Nigeria at a vantage position, as this will enable all key partners to be on the same page and also strengthen institutional framework to demonstrate Nigeria's capacity to develop bankable projects. In Lagos, Joel Pokbola, NTA News.
Nigeria faces a significant malaria surge with over 24.47 million cases reported in the first 9 months of 2025. This indicates a worrisome trend despite efforts by the government and other stakeholders to eliminate the disease. Hengino John Adams examines what Nigerian researchers are doing to reduce the numbers.
Data by the World Health Organization shows that Nigeria has the highest burden of malaria globally, accounting for about a quarter of all cases and deaths. Researchers from the nation's Apex Medical Research Institute, NIMA, are working on finding a permanent solution to malaria. They disclosed the detection of an invasive mosquito species in the country, Anopheles stephensii, warning that it poses new risks in urban areas. With Nigeria's malaria treatment policies being effective, they warn, however, that emerging challenges could threaten both national and global malaria control efforts.
I have 50% of the population. Naturally, I will have more cases. And the burden will look like I'm the one contributing more to it. But it's actually as a result of the fact that I have a greater population. I'm just going back to the use of statistics. But there's no doubt that we have a big problem on our hands that we need to deal with.
Malaria is endemic in most of Nigeria, and its transmission is highly heterogeneous, ranging from perennial high-intensity transmission in the south and forested zones to marked seasonal transmissions in northern Sahelian and Sudan savanna zones.
Experts say Nigeria remains central to global malaria eradication, and as such, sustained surveillance, research, and collaboration will help in defeating the disease. In Lagos, Henginu John Adams, NTA News.
Those are the reports from Lagos. More reports after the break. Just stay with us.
You're watching the network news on NTA. Borno State Governor Babagana Umar Zulum has presented an appropriation bill of 890.33 billion naira to the State House of Assembly for the 2026 fiscal year. The allocation comprises a capital expenditure of about 537 billion naira and a total recurrent expenditure of about 354 billion naira. Mohamed Goni reports.
Tacked the budget of sustained recovery and growth, the 2026 appropriation bill is strategically designed to build upon the progress achieved from inception of the present administration in the state. The budget will be financed through recurring revenue, including 317.6 billion naira from the Federation Account Allocation Committee and 44.3 billion naira from the internally generated revenue. Furthermore, estimated capital receipt for the year is 417.2 billion naira, which encompasses aid, grants, and the Capital Development Fund. The highest sectoral allocation of 135 billion naira goes to Ministry of Education, followed by Ministry of Health with 66.4 billion naira.
The Office of Head of Service will receive 2.1 billion naira. The Department of Monetary and Evaluation will be centered around improving monetary and evaluation and reporting systems, serving institutional capacity to develop and research and channel. To enable the department execute these projects, some of 2 billion naira have been allocated for both capital and recurrent expenditures.
Ministry of Reconstruction, Rehabilitation and Resettlement got 58.7 billion naira for both capital and recurrent expenditure. The Ministry of Information and Internal Security was allocated 56 billion naira. Ministry of Agriculture got 44.9 billion naira, and that of Livestock and Fisheries Development received 30 billion naira for both capital and recurrent expenditure, among others.
We recognize that our success is contingent upon a robust partnership between government, civil society, the private sector, and our development government. Therefore, since this pivotal opportunity, we lay a solid foundation for a brighter tomorrow.
Speaker Borno State House of Assembly Abdul Karim Lan full lauded the policy objectives enshrined in the 2026 appropriation bill and the achievements recorded so far. Also assured the governor of timely legislative scrutiny and passage of the bill to enable the executive arm to translate the proposed budget into reality. In Maiduguri, Mohamed Goni, NTA News.
And talking scrutiny, the Minority Caucus of the House of Representatives has asked the federal government to suspend implementation of the newly enacted tax laws until investigations are concluded over alleged alteration of the version passed by the National Assembly and assented to by the President. The caucus, in a statement jointly signed by Kingsley Chinda and 3 others, has thrown its weight behind ongoing investigations by the National Assembly to unravel the culprits allegedly involved in the unlawful alteration of the tax reform laws, as well as gazetting and circulation of the altered copies to the public. The House Minority Caucus vows it will ensure the illegality is exposed and the culprits brought to book in the interest of justice for all Nigerians. In the meantime, the caucus urges Nigerians to disregard any purported tax laws being circulated without the signature of the clerk to the National Assembly, as well as the President and Commander-in-Chief, stressing that it did not originate from the National Assembly.
Well, it's now time for business. President Bola Tinubu has approved the write-off of $1.42 billion in legacy debts owed by NNPC Limited to the Federation account following reconciliation by NUPRC and approval at the November 2025 FAC meeting. The reconciliation covers obligations incurred up to December 31st, 2024, including PSCS, domestic supply liabilities, repayment agreements, and royalty receivables, with accounting adjustments already made. However, 2025 debts remain outstanding, while a separate $42.37 billion on the remittance dispute is still unresolved. And as to commodities, silver slid 7% on Monday after topping $80 for the first time ever in overnight trade. Let's take a trip to the commodities market. And now to capital market. The Nigerian exchange closed the trading session. Today's trading session in positive territory as the all-share index rose to 154,389.53 points, driven by sustained buying interest in large-cap and mid-cap stocks. Investor participation was strong with 47,892 deals recorded during the session. A total of 1.46 billion shares were traded, valued at 35.54 billion naira, reflecting active engagement by both institutional and retail investors and generally optimistic market sentiment. At the close of trading, equity capitalization stood at 98.43 trillion naira, reinforcing the Nigerian exchange's growing appeal as a long-term investment destination, despite ongoing inflationary pressures and elevated interest rates. But that concludes business news. The news continues after the break.
Polls have closed in the Central African Republic following a nationwide vote for president, lawmakers and local leaders. The report.
Polling stations across the Central African Republic shut their doors after voters cast ballots in presidential, legislative, municipal and regional elections. Security was tight in several areas as citizens voted amid ongoing political and security challenges. President Forson Achange Touadera, who had been in power since 2016, is favored to win another term, extending his leadership for a third consecutive mandate. Elections officials say the voting process was largely peaceful, though there were some logistics difficulties as reported in remote regions. The National Elections Authority also announced that provisional results are expected to be released on January 5th. Observers will be closely watching the outcome as the results are seen as critical to the country's political stability and future governance. Final certified results are expected later in the month, pending review by electoral authorities. Glory Agbo, NTA News.
All right, it's time to join Ayo Makinde for all the latest in the world of sports. And tell me, Ayo, is the world heavyweight boxing champion Anthony Joshua boxing his way out of pain?
Well, as it is, Nigeria will just have to keep hopes alive that he is boxing his way through to the final round of full fitness. Welcome to the world of sports. World heavyweight boxing champion Anthony Joshua is in stable condition after he was involved in a fatal accident around Makun area along Lagos-Ibadan Expressway, Ogun State. Joshua's car collided with another vehicle, leading to the death of two, while two others were injured and one escaped unhurt. The Federal Road Safety Corps notes that preliminary findings indicate that the Lexus Jeep was suspected to be traveling beyond the legally prescribed speed limit on the corridor. The Ogun State government later said that Anthony Joshua and another passenger were evacuated to a specialized medical facility in Lagos, where doctors confirmed both were stable and did not require emergency intervention. The 36-year-old Joshua has since spoken with his family. Now we wish him speedy recovery. Let's go to other news. President Bola Tinubu has directed the immediate release of sports funds once the national budget is signed, acknowledging the time-bound nature of sporting activities. This was disclosed by the chairman of the National Sports Commission, Shehu Diko, when he addressed the Nigeria Olympic Committee in Abuja NOC President Habu Gumel reaffirmed commitments to preparing athletes for upcoming competitions, including the Commonwealth Games in 2026 and Los Angeles 2028 Olympic Games, among other regional and intercontinental championships.
Funding for sport must align with the time of the sport activities as well. Secondly, he will make approval that all those agencies that are having sport activities in their budget should be pulled together and put back into the sports development.
It's a very important AGM, and I'm happy many of the national federations are here. At the end of it, we are going to release a communique which every journalist will get it, and it will be public.
Now let's move on to the world of football. Super Eagles coach Eric Shell maintains Nigeria's last Group C match against the Cranes of Uganda will hinge on smart player management instead of overconfidence. The Franco-Ivorian Malian acknowledged the pressures associated with leading the Super Eagles, three-time African champions, describing the position as a continuous challenge fueled by high expectations of Nigerians.
I want to put the best team at this moment. Yeah, for sure. I want to win. The player wants to win. Everybody wants to win this game.
The atmosphere in the team is really, really good. The confidence from the last game, everyone is excited, but the game is gone. So the focus right now is on the next.
Rather focusing on the next match that will be on Tuesday. Now, earlier at the Continental Showpiece in Morocco, the Pharaohs of Egypt rested all their key players in a goalless draw against the Palancras Negras of Angola, which earned them 7 points to qualify to the next round. In Marrakesh, Oswin Apolis converted a penalty with 10 minutes to go as Bafana of South Africa secured a 3-2 win over Zimbabwe. Now, Palancras Negras of Angola finished third in the group and will have to wait to find out if they can progress to the last 16 as one of the top 4 third-placed teams. Well, in the match that just ended moments ago, we can see that, of course, Morocco eased to a 3-0 win to also finish top of Group A and qualify to the next round. And that's your sports. It's back to Najatu.
Thank you, Ayo. It's going to be a tough one, isn't it?
Oh, yeah, it is.
Well, we hope to win, nevertheless. And now let's see what the weather will be like on Tuesday.
Have you been feeling the heat lately? That's because the warm, moist maritime winds from the Atlantic Ocean are still pushing inland, especially into the central cities, increasing thermal discomfort across many parts of the country. So if you are heading out early, keep an eye on the skies as morning thunderstorms are expected over parts of southern Ondo, southern Ogun, and parts of Lagos State. While up north, residents of Kano, Katsina, Yobe, and Jigawa should prepare for hazy conditions that may reduce horizontal visibility. Later in the day, rain chances ramp up significantly to parts of Lagos, Bayelsa, Delta, Edo, Ondo, parts of Akwa Ibom, and Abia State are likely to see rainfall as the afternoon unfolds. So don't forget your umbrella and stay weather-wise. I am Akami Samarda.
And that concludes the network news on NTA. Thanks for watching. I'm Najatu Tijani.